So hello, namaskar and good evening everyone and welcome to the new series of PIB 247. Yes, from today we are going to start the PIB 247 classes for the upcoming examinations for the 2025 cycle. And now the PIB classes of PIB 247 will not only be relevant for the regulatory bodies examinations like RBI and NABARD, but it is also relevant for UPSC and state PSC examination as well. So in fact, PIB 247 classes are now relevant for all the competitive examinations to the government of India. All right, and yes, to those who don't know what PIB is, PIB stands for Press Information Bureau, which is the official website of the government of India, where all the news related to the government are released by the government of India itself. So it is the most authentic source for the current affairs related to the government of India, related to all the initiatives which are being implemented by the government, all the major programs, all the major schemes, and कोई भी initiative अगर सरकार लेती है तो उसकी सूचना प्रेस इंफॉर्मेशन ब्यूरो पे दी जाती है. So I believe you know कि ये कितना important source है, and I have been teaching these releases for the last more than 4 years, and my name is Manish Mishra. I hope you know this. And yeah, so from today we are starting for the 2025 examination. The sessions will be more comprehensive, the session will be more easy to understand, and yeah, you'll love it. And the timings will remain the same: Monday, Wednesday and Friday 7 p.m. You will be getting these classes every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 7 p.m. only on this channel, that is anujjindal.in. चलिए start करते हैं, and yes, the session will roll on the same way. First I will be reading a question in front of you, and then I will be explaining the news, and then we will be again then we'll solve the question. ठीक है, चलिए question number 1 पे आते हैं. What is the question number 1? National Means Cum Merit Scholarship Scheme being implemented by the Ministry of Education, which is headed by Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, aims to award scholarship to meritorious students from economically weaker sections to arrest their dropout after elementary level, that is class 8, and encourage them to complete their school education up to higher secondary level, that is class 12. How much scholarship amount is being provided under this particular scheme per annum per student? ठीक है. First of all, you must be wondering that this is not a new scheme, then why we are talking about it today in the month of November 2024? Because this scheme, I believe, was launched in the year 2008, if I'm not wrong. So we need to check the launch year, but I'm pretty sure that it was launched in the year 2008. Then why we are discussing it today? Because the Ministry of Education has recently extended the submission dates for the application under this particular scheme. Now, this news is not important for us. Obviously, they are not going to ask this particular thing कि भाई कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री ने किस स्कीम के लिए जो डेट्स हैं वो एक्सटेंड कर दी. Irrelevant, completely irrelevant. But since this scheme is in news, they can ask a question from this particular scheme. So it's our duty to discuss this scheme. So let's talk about this scheme. What is it? National Means Cum Merit Scholarship Scheme. As the name says, first of all, it is a scholarship scheme, which means some kind of scholarship is being provided, right? Now there is another word, merit. So some kind of merit based scholarship must be provided, right? तो दो बातें तो क्लियर हो गई. मेरिट बेस्ड स्कॉलरशिप इसके अंदर प्रोवाइड कराई जाती है. तो किन को प्रोवाइड कराई जाती है? सो द scholarships are awarded to the meritorious students from economically weaker sections, right? Economically weaker sections सबके लिए नहीं है. To arrest their dropout after elementary level, so that we can control the dropouts at the elementary level, that is class 8, and encourage the same students to pursue their education till secondary level, higher secondary level, that is class 12. ठीक है जी. The implementing agency is the Department of School Education and Literacy, which obviously works under the Ministry of Education, and per annum per student rupees 12,000 is provided as the amount of scholarship. 12,000 per annum per student. ठीक है जी. आगे चलते हैं. अब is there any eligibility criteria, or is it open to all the EWS category dropout people? No, there are certain eligibility criteria. Number 1, it is applicable only to those students who are studying in state government aided and local body schools. Number 1. Number 2, the annual family income should not exceed 3.5 lakh per annum. The annual family income should not exceed 3.5 lakh per annum. And also minimum marks 55% or equivalent grade in class 7th is required to have the benefit of this particular scheme. Minimum 55% marks होने चाहिए, and if the student is from SC or ST category, then there is a 5% relaxation. ठीक है, मतलब SC ST कैटेगरी के स्टूडेंट को 50% पे भी स्कॉलरशिप मिल जाएगा. ठीक है, सो ये 3 क्राइटेरिया है. Only then, after fulfilling these criteria, the students can have the benefit of this particular scheme. Now, total scholarships in a year, 1 lakh fresh scholarships are provided in a year, right? And that scholarship is also based on qualifying the examination. Scholarship लेने के लिए qualifying examination होता है, उसको qualify करने के बाद ही ये scholarship दिए जाते हैं. The scholarship is continued from class 10 to class 12, renew होता रहता है. अगर आप fail हो गए किसी एक class में, तो obviously you are not going to get the scholarship. Which means if you have got this scholarship in class 9th once, and if you get failed, if the beneficiary gets failed, then obviously he or she will not get the dual benefits. Double benefit थोड़ी ना देगी सरकार. तुम fail भी हो जाओ और पैसा भी लेते रहो, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. And yeah, it is being implemented through the National Scholarship Portal, and the scholarship amount is directly credited to the student's account through the direct benefit transfer mode. ठीक है जी, I hope it is clear. चलिए, let's come back to the question. I hope you can easily answer the question now. The amount of the scholarship has been asked. It is 12,000. Option D. Option D is the correct answer, guys, to this question. Question number 2. जल्दी से आ जाते हैं question number 2 पे. Very important one. The Ministry of Electronics and IT has recently launched Digital India Common Service Center project starting from Pilibhit and Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. Pilibhit and Gorakhpur are the 2 districts in Uttar Pradesh. गोरखपुर से हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब आते उत्तर प्रदेश के. To bridge the digital divide in rural India and ensure that digital services reach every citizen, right? The primary goal of this initiative is to create an integrated platform that provides essential e-governance services along with financial and commercial services to rural citizens. Under it, one model Digital India Common Service Center will be established in nearly all Gram Panchayats across how many districts? Totaling 4740 centers nationwide with a budget of how much crores? ठीक है जी, that is the question. So let's talk about Digital India Common Service Center and then we'll come back to the question. So it has been launched by Ministry of Electronics and IT. Do remember the name of the ministry? Of course, that's very easy to determine. Wherever you see this word Digital India, the ministry must be the Ministry of Electronics and IT. ठीक है, and the project has been started from 2 districts of Uttar Pradesh, that is Pilibhit and Gorakhpur. ठीक है, and obviously through this particular project, the Ministry of Electronics and IT is intended to bridge the rural-urban digital divide. ठीक है, now if I talk about the specific objectives, so to bridge the rural-urban digital divide, it is a common objective of this particular initiative. But if I talk about the specific objectives, what are these? Number 1. To empower village level entrepreneurs, by providing them the e-governance services and thereby enhancing their livelihood and employment opportunities. Number 1. Number 2, to ensure transparent and sustainable service delivery through centralized technical monitoring, to ensure the transparent service delivery, in short. And number 3, to create an integrated platform through which the Ministry of Electronics and IT will provide essential e-governance services along with financial and commercial services to the rural citizens. ठीक है जी, ये होगा 3 specific objectives. Now, you need not remember these objectives word to word. Just remember that obviously when it is Digital India Common Service Center, so what kind of services it will be? It will provide. So it will basically provide the e-governance services like आधार की registration हो गई, कोई लोन रिलेटेड सहायता हो गई, कंपनी रजिस्ट्रेशन हो गया, इस तरीके के बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन. ठीक है, चलिए आगे चलते हैं. नाउ इट विल एस्टैब्लिश वन मॉडल DICSC सेंटर in nearly all gram panchayats across 10 districts. And how many total centers will be established? 4740 across the country. Okay? And these are the 10 districts where these 4740 Digital India Common Service Centers shall be established. Okay? Yeah, the implementation and centralized technical monitoring of these center will be managed by, which means it will be the nodal implementing agency for these service centers will be CSC E-Governance Services India Limited. The total budget, the total outlay, the total amount that will be spent on establishing these service centers will be 31.6088 crores, approximately 31 crores. Okay? And it is set to run initially for 6 months. This project will be rolled initially for 6 months, and then based on the success of these 6 months, it will be launched in all the districts of the country. And these services will be provided, as I told you, Aadhaar registration, banking. I'm sorry about this. दिल्ली का मौसम बहुत सुंदर है इस समय, तो नॉट ओनली मी, सब लोग खांस रहे हैं दिल्ली में. फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग, टेली लॉ, टेलीमेडिसिन, एजुकेशन एंड ई कॉमर्स सपोर्ट. तो इस तरीके के बेसिक सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड कराए जाएंगे थ्रू द डिजिटल इंडिया कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर. ठीक है जी. Now that's it about this news. Let's answer the question now. So in how many districts 4740 centers will be established? बताओ. 10 districts. ठीक है. And total पैसा कितना खर्च होगा? Approximately 31 crores. और exact पूछें तो 31.6088 crores. ठीक है. So the right answer is option B. Option B is the right answer. Question number 3 पे आ जाओ जल्दी से. Let's talk about question number 3, which is about Namo Drone Didi Yojana. I hope you guys have heard about this scheme, but right now it is in news because the government has released the operational guidelines of the scheme. ठीक है, operational guidelines सरकार ने रिलीज करी है, तो इसलिए हमारा फर्ज है, हमारा कर्तव्य है, हमारी ड्यूटी है कि हम इसको पढ़ें. ठीक है. तो क्वेश्चन वही है that which of the following statements are correct with respect to the Namo Drone Didi scheme and its operational guidelines recently released by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, which is the nodal implementing agency for this scheme, and the minister is, बताओ कौन है मिनिस्टर? शिवराज सिंह चौहान. ठीक है भाई, मिनिस्टर्स के नाम पता होने चाहिए आपको. तो क्या है भाई नमो ड्रोन दीदी योजना? ये हमने सबने पहले पढ़ा है. So under this particular scheme, the government is empowering the rural women. How? By providing them the drone services. ठीक है. So to provide drones, not only drone services, पूरा का पूरा ड्रोन उनको प्रोवाइड कराया जा रहा है. To provide drones to 14,500 selected women self-help groups under DNRLM. What is DNRLM? Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, for providing rental services to farmers for agricultural purpose. Now these drones will be used by the farmers for agricultural purposes, and these drones will be owned by the women SHGs. ठीक है. तो इससे दोनों का फायदा है, फार्मर्स का भी है और इन विमेन एसएचजीज का भी है. फार्मर्स का कैसे है? जल्दी और आराम से काम हो जाएगा, राइट. और विमेन एसएचजी का कैसे है? दे विल अर्न मनी. ठीक है जी. तो डुअल बेनिफिट. नाउ एग्रीकल्चर में क्या यूज होगा? एप्लीकेशन ऑफ पेस्टिसाइड, हर्बिसाइड. ठीक है. सीड्स को स्प्रे करने में या फिर फर्टिलाइजर्स को स्प्रे करने में, उसमें इस्तेमाल होगा ड्रोन का. ठीक है. इट इज अ सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम, एंड टू दोज who don't know what is a central sector scheme, central sector schemes are those which is 100% funded by the government of India. However, centrally sponsored schemes are those in which the funding, in which the amount is shared between the center and the state government. Okay. Total outlay is 1261 crores, and this scheme will be implemented in this financial year and in the next financial year 24-25, 25-26. ठीक है. चलिए, फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस कितना मिलेगा भाई? अब क्या ड्रोन सरकार पूरा का पूरा ड्रोन खरीद के दे देगी? नहीं. गवर्नमेंट कह रही है कि आप खरीद लीजिए और हम आपको सब्सिडी देंगे. कितनी देंगे? 80%. सेंट्रल फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस एट 80% ऑफ द कॉस्ट ऑफ ड्रोन एंड एंसिलरी चार्जेस. टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ ड्रोन प्लस एंसिलरी चार्जेस जो भी होगा, व्हाटएवर इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ द ड्रोन एंड एंसिलरी चार्जेस, 80% ऑफ दैट विल बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एज द सब्सिडी अप टू अ मैक्सिमम ऑफ रुपीज 8 लाख. कितना मैक्सिमम? 8 लाख रुपए मैक्सिमम, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. विच मीन्स लेट्स से कि अगर आपका जो ड्रोन है और एंसिलरी चार्जेस मिला के 10 लाख होते हैं तो 80% यानी कि 8 लाख मिलेगा. लेकिन अगर मान लो 12 लाख है, ठीक है, तो 80% कितना हो जाएगा? 9,60,000. तो 9,60,000 नहीं मिलेगा, मिलेगा 8 लाख ही. ठीक है जी, मिलेगा 8 लाख ही. ठीक है. तो बाकी पैसा कहां से लाएंगे? अब जैसे मान लो फॉर एग्जाम्पल फॉर दिस केस 1.8 लाख मिला, बाकी 4 लाख बच गया. 4 लाख कहां से लाएंगे? तो फॉर द क्लस्टर लेवल फेडरेशंस ऑफ एसएचजीज एंड द एसएचजीज, there is a provision that they can avail loan फॉर दिस अमाउंट, फॉर दिस रेजिडुअल अमाउंट, रेजिडुअल कौन सा, जो टोटल कॉस्ट है माइनस द सब्सिडी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, कितना बचा 4 लाख, इसका ये वाला जो अमाउंट है they can borrow as a loan from National Agriculture Infrastructure Financing Facility, where they will get the interest subvention at 3%, and they can also avail loan. The cluster level federations of SHGs and SHGs themselves, they can also take loan from other schemes, programs and initiatives of the Ministry of Rural Development, where they will definitely get some kind of interest subvention. ठीक है, okay, clear है. Now drone package details, drone के अंदर क्या क्या मिलेगा ये सब आपको याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. For example, this package will consist of basic drone with spray assembly for spraying liquid fertilizers, pesticide, drone carrying box, standard battery set, etc. ठीक है, 1 year comprehensive insurance मिलेगा, 2 years annual maintenance contract मिलेगा, 4 spare battery के sets मिलेंगे. These information are not relevant. However, you must remember that there will be 1 year comprehensive insurance and 2 years of annual maintenance. ठीक है, and the additional sets of batteries will ensure continuous drone and it will cover 20 acres in a day. 20 एकड़ कवर हो सकता है एक दिन में, राइट. आगे चलो, this is very important, pilot and assistant training. So the company which will be providing drones to the women, they will also provide the training for those drones to the women SHG members. So one of the members of the women SHGs will be selected for 15 days training component. 15 दिन की ट्रेनिंग होगी, जिसमें से मैंडेटरी ड्रोन पायलट ट्रेनिंग होगा कि ड्रोन को चलाना कैसे है, हाउ टू ऑपरेट द ड्रोन, एंड एडिशनल ट्रेनिंग फॉर एग्रीकल्चरल पर्पसेस, हाउ यूजिंग ड्रोन द वुमेन कैन अप्लाई द न्यूट्रिएंट्स और फर्टिलाइजर्स टू द क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, द ट्रेनिंग फॉर दिस शैल आल्सो बी प्रोवाइडेड, बट दिस विल बी एन एडिशनल ट्रेनिंग. However, there is a mandatory training, mandatory pilot training where they will be taught how to operate that particular drone. ठीक है, the other members of the family member of SHG will with inclination to take up the repairs of electrical goods, fitting and mechanical works will be trained as the drone assistant. Other members will also be provided training regarding the repair works of that particular drone. ठीक है, आगे चलो, cluster and area selection. So the states, it will be the responsibility, it will be the duty of the states to closely monitor the interventions, provide hand-holding support to the women SHGs and help them in getting the business to cover an area of at least 2000 to 2500 acres in a year. ठीक है, ये स्टेट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी. तो बेसिकली इन शॉर्ट ये यहाँ पे कहना चाह रहे हैं, the states will provide the hand-holding support to the women SHG members to ensure that they cover 2000 to 2500 acres in a year through their own drones. सही है, चलो आगे चलते हैं. Let's come back to the question now. That's all about this scheme. It is aimed at providing drones to 14,500 selected women self-help groups. Yes. It will be implemented over 2 years with the total outlay of this much. Yes. And 80% subsidy on the cost of drones and accessories capped at 8 lakh. बिल्कुल सही. CLFs of SHGs may access loans under National Agriculture Infrastructure Financing Facility. Yes, बिल्कुल सही है. The drone package includes a comprehensive maintenance and insurance cover for 5 years. नहीं, 5 साल का इंश्योरेंस नहीं मिलेगा. ठीक है जी, शादी नहीं हो रही है कि 5 साल का इंश्योरेंस दे देंगे. तो 1, 2, 3, 4 are correct and we need to identify the correct statements. So yeah, option A will be the right answer. ठीक है भाई, चलो अब आ जाते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 पे, which is once again a very important question. It is based on India's updated National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. So what is the anticipated average annual financial requirement for implementing India's updated National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan from financial year 24-25 to financial year 29-30? So India has updated its National Biodiversity and Action Plan during the COP Conference of Party 16 to the Convention on Biological Diversity. ठीक है, यही न्यूज है. देखो, the 16th COP, the 16th Conference of Party to the Convention on Biological Diversity, it took place in Cali in Colombia, right? In Cali in Colombia, and during this Conference of Party, India updated its National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. Now, what is this Convention on Biodiversity? Let's talk about this first. Convention on Biodiversity, it is a multilateral agreement with 3 major goals. It is a multilateral agreement with three major goals. Number one, conservation of biodiversity. Conservation of biodiversity. Number two, sustainable use of its component. Sustainable use of its component. And number three, fair and equitable sharing. Number three, fair and equitable sharing of the genetic resources arising out of the biodiversity. ठीक है, ये तीन इसके मेजर गोल्स है. This convention to biodiversity, convention on biological diversity, it was opened to signature, right, on 5th of June. 5th of June 1992 को इसको ओपन करा गया for the signature during the Earth Summit which took place at Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and it came into force on 29th of December 1993. 29th of December 1993, and it has two supplementary agreements as well, Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol, right? So you should remember the basic information about all these conventions, protocols. ठीक है, जैसे जैसे आगे आते रहेंगे मैं आपको बताता रहूंगा. Okay, so it is the third time that India has updated its biodiversity strategy and targets. सबसे पहले 2000 में किया था. Now this plan offers a detailed overview of India's biodiversity status, recent trends, policy framework, how we will conserve them, how we'll be able to use them sustainably, and how we'll be able to fair and equitably share the genetic resources. ठीक है, आगे चलते. The updated plan aligns closely with the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. Now, what is it? We are saying that our National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, it aligns closely with Kunming-Montreal Global Diversity Framework. अब ये क्या है? देखो, Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, it was adopted during the Conference of Party 15, during the 15th COP, right, which took place in 2022 in two parts, in two cities. One is Kunming, which is in China, and one is Montreal, which is of course in Canada. ठीक है, this framework has four goals. This framework has 4 goals and 23 targets, and these targets have to be achieved by 2030, and all of these targets obviously are related to the biodiversity conservation. ठीक है, how we can reduce the threats to the biodiversity, how we can, what are the tools and resources for effective implementation, right? How we can sustainably use the biodiversity resources for the human beings. ठीक है, so this updated plan aligns with this particular framework, and इसके अंदर 6 conservation domains है: area based conservation, ecosystem resilience, recovery of threatened species, agro biodiversity conservation, sustainable management and enabling conditions. word to word याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, just listen कि मैं क्या क्या बोल रहा हूं. ठीक है. Now, what is the financial strategy and expenditure? So the government of India has reiterated that between financial year 2018 and 2022, we spent 32,20,713 crores on the biodiversity conservation, and we have projected that during this period of financial year 24-25 to 29-30, there is an estimated average annual financial requirement of 81,664.88 crores, right? And these finances, अब ये पैसा कहां से आएगा? पैसा बहुत सोर्सेस से आएगा. कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, पब्लिक फाइनेंस, इकोलॉजिकल फिस्कल ट्रांसफर, एक्सेस एंड बेनिफिट शेयरिंग. तो अलग अलग, और ऑब्वियसली गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट विल प्रोवाइड द मनी, राइट? कुछ लोन होगा, कुछ भारत सरकार देगी, तो अलग अलग सोर्सेस से पैसा आएगा. ठीक है, चलिए. So that's all about this news, and let's talk about the question. The right answer will be of course 81,664.88 crores. ठीक है. And now let's talk about the questions in short. और जो लोग आज मेरी क्लास में पहली बार आए हैं, मैं उनको बता दूं कि questions in short का मतलब क्या है. See, a lot of PIB releases, बहुत सारी ऐसी PIB releases होती हैं जिसमें हमारे काम का कंटेंट होता है 1-2 लाइन का, right? There are a lot of PIB releases where only 2-3 sentences are important for our examination. So those 2-3 sentences I provide you in the form of questions rather than these big news. ठीक है, I hope it is clear. And if you want to ask anything related to examination, you can follow me here. Same ID for Instagram and Telegram, Mashi Manish. चलिए, question number 6. Question number 5. Department of Youth Affairs under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports confers the National Youth Award on individuals aged between 15 to 29 years. Let me tell you the answer first. And organizations for excellent work and contribution in the different fields of development and social service such as health, promotion of human rights, active citizenship, community services, etc. So now when I am talking about the questions in short, so ये जो भी है 3-4 लाइन आपको ये सारी पता होनी चाहिए, राइट? एज ये पता होना चाहिए दैट डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ यूथ अफेयर्स कोई ऐसा अवार्ड देता है, नेशनल यूथ अवार्ड देता है, किसको देता है? इंडिविजुअल्स और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को देता है, लिखा हुआ है, राइट? इंडिविजुअल्स कौन सी एज ग्रुप के? 15 से 29 साल के देता है, और क्यों देता है, ठीक है? सो इफ यू रीड दिस क्वेश्चन केयरफुली यू विल गेट ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट नेशनल यूथ अवार्ड्स, ठीक है? So this is how you have to study, you have to read these questions in short. The right answer is 15 to 29 years, option E. ठीक है? Question number 2. Which ministry has recently launched the third nation, and yes, do remember here, to individuals the cash prize is rupees 1 lakh and to organizations the cash prize is rupees 3 lakhs. ठीक है? The amount of prize this. Question number 6 है, which ministry has recently launched third nationwide digital life certificate campaign to be held in 800 cities or districts across India from November 1st to 30, 2024. Very easy question. We are talking about digital life certificate campaign, the third edition. ये हमने बहुत बार पढ़ा है पहले भी, but since we are starting afresh, so that's why I have taken this question. Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions is the right answer. Question number 7. Which country is hosting the first Asian Buddhist Summit under the theme of Role of Buddha Dhamma in Strengthening Asia? Very important. It is being hosted by the Ministry of Culture of India. By the Ministry of Culture of India, and hence the right answer is option C, Our Pyara Bharat, India. Question number 8. Which country is hosting the G20 Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group Ministerial Meeting? बता सकते हो? बताओ, बहुत आसान क्वेश्चन है यार, बहुत आसान क्वेश्चन है. इट इज बीइंग होस्टेड बाय ब्राजील एट अ प्लेस कॉल्ड बेलेन, एट अ प्लेस कॉल्ड बेलेन, ठीक है? क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 पे आते हैं. वेयर इज द 352nd गवर्निंग बॉडी मीटिंग ऑफ ILO बीइंग हेल्ड? वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. ILO की सारी गवर्निंग बॉडी मीटिंग जो होती है वो उसके हेडक्वार्टर जेनेवा में ही होती है. ILO की अगर हम बात करते हैं, so ILO was established in the year 1919. It is a United Nations specialized agency. It is headed by Gilbert Hongbo. I don't know what's the pronunciation. Gilbert Hongbo is the Director General. It is headquartered in Geneva. It is a United Nations specialized agency. Yeah, that's it. चलो फिर question number 10 पे आते हैं, which is the last question for today. The WHO has recognized India's remarkable progress with how much % decline in TB incidence from 2015 to 2023, which is the rate more than double the global decline of 8.3%. So it is 17.7%, my dear friends. The right answer is option A. And WHO is also headquartered in Geneva with Director General Tedros Adhanom, and WHO was established in the year 1948. And it is also a United Nations specialized agency. Chaliye, that's it for today's class. I hope all the questions and their explanations are clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section, and I will see you in the next class on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Till then, keep studying and keep studying hard. Good night, goodbye, not good night, goodbye, take care, and God bless.